Tory Lanez just survived one of the most brutal attacks inside prison, stabbed multiple times in what many are now calling a setup. But what really turned heads wasn't just the violence. It was 50 Cent stepping into the chaos, pointing fingers at none other than Jay-Z. According to him, this wasn't some random prison beef. It was a hit, a message, and possibly a way to silence Tory before he could clear his name. At first, the headlines sounded like just another unfortunate jailhouse incident. Tory, behind bars at the California Correctional Institution, was attacked early one morning. The reports say it happened around 7:20 a.m. near his housing unit. Paramedics rushed him to the hospital in Bakersfield. His team released a chilling statement: 17 stab wounds, collapsed lungs, injuries on his back, torso, head, and face. He was placed on a breathing machine. Fans held their breath, some praying for recovery, others coldly calling it karma. But behind the bloody details, something darker began to unravel. The man accused of stabbing him was no ordinary inmate. Santino Casio is already serving life for murder and serious violent crimes. A guy like that. He has nothing to lose. So when 50 Cent pointed out that the timing felt too perfect, right as new witness testimony began surfacing about the night Megan Thee Stallion got shot, it made people stop and think. If Tory was being set up, who stood to gain the most? And that's where Jay-Z's name enters the picture. Tory's father didn't hold back. He went on record saying that Jay-Z and the Roc Nation team orchestrated not just the trial, but now this violent attack. He called out names Alex Spiro, Desiree Perez, accusing them of manipulating the justice system to protect Megan at all costs. He even went as far as saying Jay-Z was still trading souls for power in the industry. Harsh words, but the kind that don't just appear out of thin air. See, there's history here. Tory once claimed that Roc Nation tried to sign him, but he turned them down. And according to his father, Jay-Z never forgot that. The theory goes that with Megan signed under Roc Nation's umbrella and new evidence threatening her image, the label couldn't afford another media disaster. So if that meant silencing Tory permanently, well, some believe that was the plan. What really adds fuel to the fire is the witness testimony that's only now coming out, long after the trial wrapped up. Tory's former bodyguard, Bradley James, allegedly heard Kelsey, Megan's former best friend, admit to firing the gun that night. According to his statement, Tory tried to stop her by grabbing her arm. That struggle might have triggered more shots. Another bystander, Sean Kelly, testified that he saw two women fighting right before shots were fired. These accounts paint a completely different picture from what the court believed. And yet, none of this was brought to light during the actual trial. Tory's legal team says the process was flawed from the start. The bodyguard didn't even testify. And as it turns out, Tory's DNA was barely present on the weapon, if at all. Forensic experts put the chance of his DNA being on the gun at 0.01%. That alone has raised serious questions about whether the case was mishandled, or worse, manipulated. Megan's side of the story has never changed. She says Tory shot her, and that the trauma from that night still haunts her. But even she didn't initially press charges. In fact, when police arrived, she told them she stepped on glass. It was only later, after reports started circulating, allegedly planted by Tory's team, that she took to Instagram Live and made her accusation public. Her reasoning? She didn't want to escalate things in front of law enforcement, especially as a black woman. And when she finally did speak out, things spiraled fast. Tory denied everything, claiming he was being smeared. Then came the bombshell. Tory alleged that Kelsey and Megan had both been romantically involved with him, and that this love triangle exploded the night of the shooting. Tension built at a party hosted by Kylie Jenner, where Megan allegedly invited Tory last minute. When Kelsey found out about his secret fling with Megan, things got messy. The argument started in the car. What happened next turned into a headline that hasn't faded since. Tory didn't stay silent. He tweeted cryptic messages. One in particular stood out. "Good D had me messing with two best friends and I got caught." That's what I apologized for. The implication was loud and clear. He admitted to the drama, but not the violence. Fans took sides. The internet exploded. The trial hadn't even started, but the court of public opinion was already in session. When things finally reached the courtroom in December 2022, it felt like reality TV playing out behind closed doors. The trial wasn't televised, but every moment was dissected online. Tory's legal team seemed more interested in tearing down Meghan's credibility than defending their client. They dragged her personal life into the spotlight, implied she was jealous, and painted her as someone with a pattern of betrayal. It was vicious and strategic. Kelsey, once Meghan's closest friend, took the stand next. Everyone expected her to back Meghan, but instead her testimony left more questions than answers. She revealed that Meghan was the one who invited Tory to Kylie's party. She admitted to past conflicts, and she distanced herself from both sides. Her testimony was murky, but crucial. Tory's father wasn't done. After the verdict came down, guilty on all counts, he unleashed a furious rant outside the courthouse. He called it the worst miscarriage of justice he'd ever witnessed. He accused Jay-Z of bribing the jury, of influencing key witnesses like Sean Kelly, who, according to him, changed his testimony after a private meeting with Roc Nation representatives. At first, Kelly had supported Tory's version, but later he flipped. The implication was clear: someone got to him. Even 50 Cent chimed in again. He suggested Jay-Z had a king complex, accusing him of trying to destroy Tory to protect his empire. With Meghan still signed to Roc Nation, the idea is that Jay-Z saw her as a financial asset, too valuable to lose in another scandal. Tory's rejection of Roc Nation? That was the final insult. Meanwhile, Meghan's legal team claims Tory continued to harass her from behind bars. Not directly, but through bloggers. One of them, Elizabeth Magro Cooper, is now being sued by Meghan for defamation. A former friend of Cooper alleges she was feeding information to the press on behalf of Tory's father. It's messy, it's personal, and it's not over. The court might see another showdown. If Tory's legal team succeeds in reopening the case, the restraining order against him will become a key issue. Can he and Meghan even be in the same courtroom again? And more importantly, what happens if the new evidence sticks? No matter how this unfolds, one thing's clear: this isn't just about Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion anymore. It's about power, silence, and what really happens when billion-dollar careers are on the line. If Jay-Z truly had a hand in all this, whether to protect an artist or crush an enemy, it would reveal a dark truth about the music industry. That sometimes the people at the top don't just manage stars, they control fates. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. And the next chapter, it could expose everything.